I'd like you to just imagine that your viewers are indeed simply your clients. Try to see each subscriber, not just as some random person who followed me. Thanks, of course, but I'm a star. Look at it a bit differently. Every subscriber is your client. They come for the emotion, they come for your attention and your thought-provoking ideas and engagement. Accordingly, you need to interact with your customers or subscribers. You might say that a client should pay, and you'd be right, but understand that this kind of client is the one that other people pay for, namely advertisers. However, if you're creating a product, trust me, your client will be ready to pay for it themselves. So yes, we need to rethink our attitude towards our subscribers. We should treat them like clients and give them the attention they deserve. How can we do that? Actually, it's very simple. Your clients are writing you questions. If this were your business, like a cafe or an agency, would you respond to your clients? I think so. And it's the same story when people write something under your video. Well, unless it's hate, although I still recommend responding to hate, because the better the dialogue and communication under your video, the better it is for social media algorithms. So, don't forget to write comments even to haters. Respond to them, engage with them. We've already figured out that hate has nothing to do with you. Try to help the person through the hate. Try to give the hater a little psychological training. What's up, buddy? Do you have a problem? Let's talk about it. It will always be funny. Your unusual responses will also entertain your reasonable subscribers. And of course, it will also perk up the haters a bit. You need to understand what your audience's interests are. If you've made a video and motivated your audience to ask questions, take those questions seriously, because they contain the issues that concern them. So, videos made on this topic are definitely more likely to bring you the results you need, and it's really crucially important to maintain that communication, to engage actively, and also importantly, to answer questions thoroughly. And when you're making a video, there's one secret strategy that many bloggers use frequently, but not everyone talks about it openly. For some reason or another, beginners always try hard unnecessarily to use you in the plural. Well, actually it comes out in the plural, but in some languages you is a separate form. There's nothing like that in English. Well, for example, in Russian, in Estonian, and in other languages, you is a separate form. You as a respectful form towards the viewers. So, when you use that kind of phrasing, the viewer doesn't feel special. What I like about the English language is that when you say you or T, it doesn't matter. The address is directed specifically at each person. And here there are no divisions, which can't be said for other languages. So, if you're creating content not in English, keep in mind that using you or T, addressing a specific viewer who's watching you right now, is really important. A person feels like a special individual. A person feels important. Yeah, that direct address to them. And don't forget to engage with your audience. Don't forget to answer their questions. On many social networks and platforms, there's an option to take a comment left by a viewer and create a video response. Do it. It's very effective. When other viewers see that you respond to every comment this way, they will be motivated to comment too. So the more you respond to comments in video format, the better your results will be. If you also use the response structure I mentioned earlier, with a hook, the main content, and a CTA or call to action, you'll get even more reach because more people will see that video in their recommendations. So, we talked about how to interact with your audience and strategies. This is an important aspect in various ways. I hope that this is now clear and techniques. But besides responding to comments and engaging with our viewers in the comments to boost involvement in our content and methods, we can also create polls and approaches. A very good content creation scheme is a survey. But again, even when doing a survey, always follow the structure I talked about in the last lesson and lessons before that. Hook, content, call to action. Even the poll you create should be engaging content that helps the viewer understand why they should participate in it, meaning what problem it will solve for them and what benefits it will bring. So by creating a successful, well-structured poll, I mean in terms of video content creation, you'll end up with a whole hub of questions, knowledge, and topics that you can use later to create new videos. And this is one way to interact with your audience that can be beneficial for you. So by creating a successful, well-structured poll, I mean in terms of video content creation, you'll end up with a whole hub of questions, knowledge, and topics that you can use later to create new videos. And this is one way to interact with your audience that can be beneficial for you. There's also one more thing we haven't talked about, and this is one way to interact with your audience that can be beneficial for you. There's one more thing we haven't talked about. This is also kind of both content and interaction with your audience. You can show behind the scenes, like how you prepare for a shoot, and reveal what's happening off camera, such as the fun and unexpected moments that occur during filming. This approach not only engages your audience, but also builds a deeper connection with them, something the viewer has never seen before. It's like you're giving them a chance to go behind the scenes and see what really happened. This is also a kind of credit of trust that you create, you receive from your viewers, due to the fact that you show not this final result of a beautiful picture, cool production, but you show this reverse side of the whole process. That is, you trust it like revealing a secret to your friend and showing him that you trust this person. Accordingly, here we do the same thing. And this is behind the scene. It is very interesting to the audience. Sometimes I'll tell you, it's even more interesting than the main content. Therefore, there is no need to worry that suddenly I have an ugly background there, or suddenly I have something thrown around, garbage or something else. Don't worry about it. If you're delivering great content, trust me, people will actually have a wow effect when they see, oh, so this is where he films his content, or oh, this is how it's done. This way, you'll attract even more attention to yourself. This is also, by the way, one of the types of content we haven't talked about yet, but behind the scenes or what happens off camera. I really recommend creating and posting it from time to time, especially if you have a show, a program, or some project where you always have a beautiful picture. But sometimes you want to take away a bit of that shine and show what you really have, and believe me, it will pay off. And we've already talked about algorithms. So basically we touch on each topic a bit. We kind of touch on one topic within another because everything is very interconnected. And sometimes it's hard not to bring up this topic a little earlier. All right, and now we're going to talk about algorithms and what to pay attention to. Let's take YouTube and TikTok, okay? That'll be a good visual example. We know that YouTube has a certain, let's say, way of operating. This is content based on search queries. So when a person searches for something, YouTube gives them results, and then you choose which video to watch. When we talk about TikTok, the first thing that always happens is that we open the recommendation feed and we start scrolling through it, literally getting lost in those recommendations for hours. So what conclusion should we draw for ourselves? TikTok is moving to SEO optimization as TikTok videos appear in Google search. The main traffic is the recommendation feed. TikTok's success relies on video hooks and content structure. But if we're talking about the main traffic, then of course it's the recommendation feed. A big part of success on TikTok comes down to the hook in the video and the structure of the content itself. Can you grab attention? Can you hold it? And can you build maximum watch depth? Watch depth in general is a factor that applies to both YouTube and TikTok. In general, wherever there's video content, the deeper the watch time, the better the results. If we take a platform like LinkedIn and upload a vertical video there, then of course it's a bit of a different story. Reactions. People's reactions carry weight, but again, we're talking about platforms that are specifically designed for this kind of content. That's TikTok. And so we're specifically interested in TikTok. Why? Because TikTok is the only platform that gives you unreal amounts of views. Can vertical videos on YouTube or Instagram get millions of views? Yes, of course they can. I've seen things like this while working with different clients, and even On one of my YouTube channels, a YouTube Shorts video, a vertical video, got around 2 million views. For one client and another, it was around 7 million views. So we draw conclusions. Views, multi-million views can happen everywhere, but the frequency of those multi-million views is higher on TikTok. This is the main thing we want, how we can divide these social networks. Overall, I'll say this: if you're creating content, it would be really unwise not to upload it to all social networks, because in the end, you're getting reach. Reach on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, so you can launch your blog on all three platforms at once. If you want to add Snapchat, go ahead, no problem. So the more presence you have online, the better people will recognize you. It's like, a moment, if we talk from a marketing perspective, there's this rule of 7 touches. Just imagine that the same rule of 7 touches is at play here. When a person sees you on 7 different channels, they start to remember you better and better. We've talked a lot about hooks, how to grab attention, meaning that you should spend 80% of your time on creating your idea on the hook itself. When you're creating a video, spend 80% of your time making sure the hook is as effective as possible. An effective hook is the key to being seen in the recommendation feed and getting people to keep watching. So the longer your video is watched, the better the signal it sends to TikTok's algorithms. If we're talking about YouTube, it's a bit of a different story here. Overall, the depth of how long people watch your videos is important here. When we talk about long videos, and also when we talk about short ones, reactions are important. Reactions? How many times this video was shared, liked, and commented on? I would even put comments at the top in YouTube Shorts.